Hi everybody, welcome back to a new video. Welcome back to Bookmas. I took a very unexpected break. If you guys have noticed, if you guys have been catching up with Bookmas, you guys may or may not have noticed that I took a very unexpected break during Bookmas because I got very sick in between filming. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys know I made the announcement a couple of days ago that I was at the ER. I went to the ER at 1:30 a.m. in the morning because I was so sick. I had a really bad stomach infection, and so I really had to go to the emergency room and get help. But today I am so much better, thank the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. I am okay, I'm alive, and now today I just wanted to sit down and do a little chill video. As you guys can see, I'm in my bed. I have my comforter right here. I have my pillows, getting cozy, literally getting in the most cozy atmosphere as I can. I have my long sleeves on, I have my literally everything. I have everything with me right now, and so I thought we'd do a kind of sit down and chill video for today's video. And this is one of the videos that I have been pretty much anticipating for the longest time, because I really wanted just to like chit chat for this video. And so for today's video, as you guys can see by the title, we are going to be talking about my Spotify wrap up and my Fable reading wrap up. Now I know that Fable made an announcement that they are not quite done yet for the year. They still have something. They still have a surprise for us coming soon for the end of the year. But I don't think we can hold that much longer for this video in particular. So we're just going to go ahead and read my Fable stats, because I love looking at Fable's reading statistics because it's more accurate and it has a lot more features that is just, I don't know, it's just like, it just helps you as a reader if you guys really care about the statistics. We get a lot of statistics in Fable, which is one of my favorite features ever. And by the way, this video is not sponsored by Spotify or Fable, as much as I wish they would. But we're just gonna go ahead and talk about my Spotify wrap up first, and then we're gonna talk about my Fable reading wrap up. I have my laptop right here. Let's start with Spotify first and foremost. So we have my stats here. I have my stats ready, and I also already have my predictions ready. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to read my predictions, and afterwards I up the stats that I got from my Spotify wrap up, and then so on and so on. So I need to give you guys a little disclaimer. I don't know what's up with my Spotify wrap up. Maybe it's different for every region or something. I don't really understand how it works, but on my Spotify wrap up, it does not show me any of, like, I've seen on other people's Instagram and whatnot, and I've seen them saying things like they have like October was my pink princess Pilates era or something like that. That did not show up on my Spotify wrapped up at all, and so I don't really know what's that about. But yeah, so I only got the basic stats for this year, and it kind of was a little bit of a letdown from what we got last year in 2023. But yeah, it's all just gonna be for a fun time, and we're just gonna talk about basically what we got. So first things first is my listening hours, minutes actually. So my listening minutes, I predicted that it was going to be either from, I put a range, I put 25,500 minutes minimum and 50,600 minutes maximum, and the reality of that was actually 55,026 minutes this year. So that exceeded my, yeah, it exceeded my prediction. So I'm okay with that. Okay, so next up is my top songs. So from this category, I predicted that my top songs would be number 1, You and I by One Direction, Number 2, Our Song by Anne Marie and Niall Horan. Number 3, Heartbreak Weather by Niall Horan. Number 4, Heaven by Niall Horan. And number 5, Cross Your Mind by Niall Horan. And my stats actually show that my top song was Our Song by Anne Marie and Niall Horan. I streamed it 392 times this year, starting from March 4th. And afterwards, it shows that here are the leaderboards. So for my top songs are number 1, Our Song. Number 2 is Heartbreak Weather, as I predicted. Number 3 is Heaven, as I also predicted. But number 4 was kind of a surprise. Number 4 is Meltdown by Niall Horan. And number 5 is Cross Your Mind. So I did get one right. I thought that you and I would take first place because last month we all know what happened in October and we all know what happened in November. Those 2 months were, I think that's what really took it from me. Like, I was listening to One Direction like there was no tomorrow, and specifically You and I. That was a lot. Yeah. I think I streamed it pretty much the whole entire day. I just streamed You and I, so that's why I really put You and I on the top spot, but I didn't really think it would be Our Song. As I said, I thought Our Song would take second place because I am aware of how much I've listened to that song this year. I don't know what it was. I think I just rediscovered that song this year and completely fell in love with it all over again. And it was a great time, by the way, you guys. So, and then there is Heartbreak Weather, Heaven, and Cross Your Mind by Niall Horan. And the context really why I put those 3 songs the way they are is because that is I feel like that is my top Niall Horan songs. You guys know me, if you guys have known me for a while, and I don't know how many times I've mentioned this, but I love Niall Horan and his songs are just top tier. And my top songs from Niall Horan, if I had to rank them, number 1 would definitely be Heartbreak Weather, number 2, Heaven, number 3, Cross Your Mind, number 4, definitely Mirrors, and then number 5 would have to be that's a tough spot. Number 5 would have to be Too Much to Ask. I love those songs so much, and yeah, I felt like it had to go that way. Like Heartbreak Weather, Heaven, Cross Your Mind. Like Heartbreak Weather is my favorite song. Despite the title, I feel like it's kind of like a contradiction between the title and the meaning behind the song, really, but I love it nonetheless. It's my favorite song ever since it came out. I've just always loved the song, rediscovered it last year, and have been like in love with it ever since. Again, that's that. The next category is Top Artist, and I predicted this year my top artists will be, in this particular order: number 1, Niall Horan; number 2, One Direction; number 3 would probably be Tate McRae; number 4, I put Sabrina Carpenter; and then on number 5, I really couldn't decide, so I put in Louis Tomlinson or Harry Styles. And my Spotify stats says number 1, Niall Horan; number 2, One Direction. We got 2 correct. Number 3 was Harry Styles. Number 4 was Taylor Swift, which I didn't think she would make it to my top artists this year, but she did. Number 5 is Anne Marie, and it's probably because as I said previously, I streamed Our Song like crazy, so that's probably why. So that's my top artists. I got 2 correct from this list, so that's right. And then, as I said, my top artists, obviously we all know this, but let's say it collectively. Number 1 is Niall Horan, and number 2 is One Direction. We all know this. It's no surprise. But what did surprise me though was that Taylor Swift actually made it to my top artists, because I feel like this year I haven't been listening to Taylor as much as I did last year. That is something that is a little bit like questionable to me, because I feel like last year Taylor was my number 1 top artist on my Spotify wrapped up, and I really did started listening to her songs around, I think like last year it was like around the month of like August probably. So I started probably August, September, around that time. but somehow she made it to my top artists of the year, #1, may I say. So that was shocking to me. And this year, as I said, I didn't think like the last couple of months, I don't think like I feel like I have listened to more, I've like gravitated towards One Direction and Niall Horan, Harry Styles, Louis Tomlinson, Liam Payne, Zayn Malik's, their songs more this year, because like obviously, do we have to talk about it? I don't think we should. We all know. I feel like I gravitate towards their songs a lot more this year, and somehow I'm like even surprised how Louis did not make my top artists. I'm surprised how Tate McRae did not make my top artists. But she was Sabrina, Tate, Gracie, and Lizzie McAlpine, all 4 of them were, and Julia Michaels, all 5 of them were actually in my artist clips for the 2024 wrap up, but they were not not featured in it. So I don't know what's that about, but okay, next up is podcasts. So I put in this particular order my top podcasts is #1 is Whoa That's Good podcast by Sadie Robertson Huff. #2 is Bookmarked by Sarah and Des. #3 is Stay True podcast by Madison Pruitt Trout. #4 is Happy and Healthy podcast by Janine Amapola Ward. And #5 is Girls Gone Bible with Ari and Angie. So let's check my stats for my Spotify. Okay, I mixed it up a bit. Okay, so #1, I thought I had it correct, but I mixed it up a bit. So #1, I have Whoa That's Good podcast by Sadie Robertson Huff. #2 is Stay True podcast by Madison Pruitt Trout. And then #3 is Bookmarked with Sarah and Des. #4 is Happy and Healthy with Janina Mapola. And then #5 is Girls Gone Bible. That was fun. That's it for my Spotify wrap up. Wow, okay. Again, I said it was like literally the most basic Spotify wrap up I've ever had, but yeah, moving on. So that is my Spotify wrap up. I somehow was very surprised how they did not make a top album of the year. I thought they would actually make like a top album wrap up as well, like a section just to talk about the top albums that I listened to the most. I feel like if I had to take a guess, do we need to go? If I were to take a guess of the top albums I listened to this year, it would definitely have to be at #1, Midnight Memories by One Direction. At #2, Made in the AM by One Direction. At #3, Heartbreak Weather by Niall Horan. #4. Well, I think #4 would have to be okay, this is a tough decision. I thought this was going to be easy. It was not. #4, I think #4 would have to be Tate McRae's album Think Later, because I love that album so much. I had a phase where the whole entire month I was just listening to the entire album like on repeat, like in chronological order. That's when you know I love an album, is when I start listening to the whole entire album in chronological order. And then I think at #5, I think it's safe to say that I think at #5 it had to be The Secret of Us by Gracie Abrams, because I feel like that album, and the deluxe version, by the way, and that album in particular, I think I loved most of the songs. Like I think I tend to listen to all of them besides It's Good Luck Charlie. I listened to the entire album, so absolutely loved it. Can't say anything more about that. So that is it for my Spotify wrap up, and now let's move on to my Fable wrap up. I have my laptop right here. I have my stats from Fable opened, and I will, as I said, will have it pop up on the screen, the statistics for my Fable wrap up. And just a little bit of a disclaimer though, at this particular moment when I'm filming this video, I have completed my reading for the holidays. I have finished reading all the books that I wanted to read for videos, so right now I'm just reading leisurely. I'm not chasing goals anymore. I have accepted I have accepted that I will not be able to complete my reading goal this year. I set up a pretty big standard because last year I read 41, 42, can't remember. I read around 40-ish books last year, and I took it up a notch and I set my reading goal to 50 books this year. Don't know why I put that there, but I put that there. I took it up a notch a little bit too far. I put 50 books this year, and right now I am on book 37. I actually have like 1, 2, 3, 4. I actually have 4 more books that are ongoing, but I think I'm gonna put a couple of DNFs. I think I'm gonna, oh wait, 5. I have 5 ongoing books. But I'm just like, I've DNF'd a lot of books this year, and that is another story for another day. But I'm just letting you guys know, I'm on book 37 right now, finishing it tonight. I'm going to finish it in a couple of hours, I guess. I think after I finish filming this video, I will continue to read this book just to finish it off today, and I can start or continue, most likely will continue reading the books that I'm currently reading right now. So yeah, so let's get into my Fable reading wrap up. So when you first open my statistics on my Fable, we have the reader summary. Holiday heartthrob. Your bookshelf is such a seasonal sucker for holiday romance and heartwarming tales. I'm surprised it hasn't put up Christmas lights yet. I think it's really cute. Anyways, it says here that for my 2024 goal, I have read and finished 36 books of 50 books. I'm on book 37, and my average rating is 4 stars. So I'm not gonna go into details of what books I read. I'm not gonna go through them one by one. We're just gonna read the statistics, because if I'm gonna go through all the books I read this year, we're gonna have to talk about that in another video, unless you want this video to go for an hour or so. This is not a podcast episode, by the way. Anyways, as I said, finished 36 books so far this year. In the month of January, I read 1 book. You guys already know why. In the month of February, I read 2 books. In the month of March, I read 4 books. In the month of April, I read 4 books. In the month of May, I read 2. In the month of June, I also read 2 books. In the month of July, I read 5 books, which was, I think it was the best reading month. I'll have to say that. July was my best reading month because I feel like I read most of my favorite books this year from that month, so it was pretty good. And then in August, I read the same amount. I read 5 books as well. In September, I read 2 books. In October, I read 4. In November, I also read 4. And on December, I currently am on book number 2. And then we're gonna skip for my best reading streak because I always forget to log my reading. But anyways, we're gonna go straight ahead to most read genres for this year. And out of 36 books, I have read 33 romance books. We have 33 romance books. We got 8 fantasy books. And we got 8 young adult books. We got 6 sports books, and we have 5 humor books. Now I don't really know what books are in this category. I would love to know what books are in that category. And then we have an average rating of 4 stars. It says here that I have rated 1 book a 2 stars, and then I rated around 5 books 3 stars. I rated 4 books a 3.5 stars. I rated 1 book 3.75 stars. I rated 9 books a 4 star. 1 book a 4.25 stars. We have 3 books rated 4.5 stars, and I have 9 books rated 5 stars as well. And then we have my most read authors so far this year. And starting from the bottom and moving our way up, we have Lynn Painter. I read 2 books by her. And then we have Liz Humford, also read 2 books by her. Then Jessa Hastings, also 2 books by her. And Emily Henry, 2 books by her as well. yeah, and then Ashley Boston. I also read 2 books by her this year. And then we have number 2 is Abby Jimenez with 3 books. And my number 1 top author this year is Elsie Silver, where I read 6 books by her this year. That's quite a lot. Okay. And that is all for my Fable reading wrap up. I would say, as I already said in the beginning, that this year I didn't get as much reading done as I would want to. If you guys have stuck around with me throughout the year, you guys know that I have had quite the busy first half of the year, and I just wasn't in the right mental space. And most of this time this year has been quite the ride. It has been quite a mental health journey for me this year, and yeah, it took a toll on me personally, but I'm looking forward for the new year and for a new year of reading, resetting my goals, and hopefully reaching those goals as well. I think I might lower my reading goal next year to around 40-ish books next year, just to take the pressure off a little bit. But if anything, now I know specifically much more about my reading taste, what I like and what I don't like, and that's okay. I think that's part of the fun in reading the books that I like to read, you know? It's part of discovering what you like and what you don't like, what you gravitate towards and what you don't. You win some, you lose some, and you learn a lot along the way as well. So yeah, that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow in a new video. Goodbye!